All right. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Quincy Carrier Live. We got a lot to talk about. The Browns have made some moves. Deshaun Watson's Achilles injury has popped up again. We have a ton to talk about as far as the future of this team at the quarterback position. Now, let's start with that. Let's start with the news that dropped about Deshaun Watson. He had a setback. We don't know how severe, but we do know that this setback was serious enough that the Browns decided to inform us about it. Now, we know a lot about the Cleveland Browns. They don't inform us about much when it comes to the medical side of things. So the fact that they felt the need to inform us about whatever is going on with Deshaun Watson's Achilles, I do think means that it is significant. Like, I don't think it's insignificant that they let us know that. I don't think it is a minor setback, right? If this were something that was the difference between 1 week or 2 weeks, I don't think they would have told us. This is something that changes the timeline for the injury. Now, let's kind of walk backwards here on the last 4 years of Deshaun Watson, because Deshaun Watson was probably the last football player on earth who could have afforded to have this injury at this time, period. Like, straight up. This was the last guy who could afford to get an Achilles injury. He was playing horrible football. He just had gotten hurt for the season last year. And then he pops his Achilles. Only thing he had going for him was athletic ability. Boom, out the window. This is the last guy on earth who could have afforded a setback. And now he has a setback. Now, there's been a lot of questions about the nature of the setback, a lot of conspiracy theories already about it. I do think that this is a legitimate injury. Like, I think he legitimately re-injured his Achilles. It seemed like the Watson camp was telling us that he was making this miraculous recovery, and he was recovering super fast, and they were being super aggressive about it. And the reason they were being super aggressive about it is, think about those reports. Deshaun Watson will compete for the starting job in camp. That was the report that we heard from multiple national outlets. Deshaun Watson will compete for the job during camp. Think about that. Now, I know people brought up Aaron Rodgers and Kirk Cousins as the new standard of how fast you can come back from an Achilles. And we kind of think, oh, because those two came back super fast, everybody can come back super fast and there's no risk. We figured out some kind of new medical procedure. What they were doing was just taking more risk to come back earlier. They were getting to parts of the rehab while the muscle wasn't healed to what the normal percentage would be, and stretching it and hoping that it wouldn't break. Now, what I think happened with Watson, this is just my amateur theory, is that he was being really aggressive with his Achilles recovery. Again, trying to come back in July, 9 months for what is usually a 12-month injury is very, very aggressive. You're talking about cutting off 3 months of rehab here. Like, that is an ultra aggressive plan. And when you're ultra aggressive with any rehab, there's a chance that you might get a setback because you might re-aggravate the injury trying to be aggressive here. I think that's what happened. They were being super aggressive, Deshaun Watson and his people, because they knew that they needed to get back to the field by July and be ready to compete, because they know if he doesn't win this job this year, there are no more chances for Deshaun Watson. And if he comes back to camp and it's late August, it's too late. He's not going to win the job. If he comes back to camp, or if he gets back and he's ready to play and it's September, it's too late. He's not going to get the job. They're going to put him on PUP. But with this injury at his Achilles, that is it. He's done. In my opinion, at least, he's done. The reason I think he's done is simple. His last chance to be a starting quarterback in the NFL was this potential camp competition that he would have with whatever veteran quarterback they bring in. Well, I don't think he's going to be healthy for camp. Again, they announced this. They haven't even announced what's going on with Cedric Tillman yet. They announced this setback with Deshaun Watson. It tells you it's not a small deal. They announced this setback with Deshaun. It tells me that he's probably not going to be healthy for camp. And if he's not healthy for camp, what is the benefit of activating him off of PUP if you're the Browns? You have all the benefit in the world to not. You have his insurance policy, which means that you'll get $44 million of cap relief in 2026 if he does not play in 2025. You still retain the ability to June 1st cut him. If you want to move on from the Watson era, this is how you can move on from the Watson era. This is how you can do it pretty easily. So that, to me, this injury, that's it for the Watson era. I don't see another way in which this era can continue. It doesn't seem like Kevin Stefanski is interested in doing anything to prop him up anymore. Andrew Berry outright called the trade a failure. Said the quarterback play has been a failure over the last few years. They're done. And this injury was the final straw. And you know what? If you're looking at this from the Browns front office perspective, at least now we know that there is no possible way that they could be, now I want to say, what's the right word for it? There's no possible way that the Browns can be negligent about the quarterback position going into this offseason. They're going to have to look at free agency. They're going to have to look at trades. They're going to have to look in the draft. Now, this is where the most debate has been about when it comes to quarterback. There's always a debate about quarterback in the draft, especially when you have a top 5 pick and you don't have a quarterback. I have seen plenty of debates about quarterbacks where people swear to God, if you don't draft this guy, you're going to regret it. I remember, somebody tell me in chat, y'all remember when people thought Mitch Trubisky would turn into Ben Roethlisberger if we didn't draft him? Y'all remember that? Like, people were like, actively, we shouldn't draft Myles Garrett because we don't have a quarterback. We must take Mitchell Trubisky because he's from Ohio and Big Ben was from Ohio. And if we don't take the dude that's from Ohio, well, then he's just going to simply turn into Big Ben. Fun times. We're always going to get into these debates about quarterbacks because we don't know if any of these quarterbacks are good or bad yet, right? I see people right now in the chat crashing out over Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders. I find this whole argument interesting because I'm not very high on either of these quarterbacks. I'm not excited about the prospect of drafting either of these quarterbacks, but there are like 4 defensive players that I think would be really, really good. And that has led me to have a more detached place in this argument. I don't have a dog in the quarterback fight this year. Like, I don't think the Browns should draft the quarterback. I don't think any of these quarterbacks are going to end up being worthy of the number 1 pick. But I do think these arguments that I'm hearing are very interesting. A lot of these arguments I hear about quarterback, and you tell me if I'm wrong about this, but a lot of the arguments that I hear about quarterback boil down to fear. Here's what I mean by that. The reason I think it boils down to fear is because a lot of people want to draft a quarterback because they don't want to be in a situation where the Browns don't draft the quarterback and that quarterback they don't draft turns into somebody, right? Like, that to me, I feel like is the number 1 motivator for Browns fans to want to draft a quarterback. I don't think the belief in Cam Ward is strong enough, or the belief in Shedeur Sanders is strong enough. I think it is a mixture of fear and, well, we need a quarterback. But is there a quarterback in this draft? Think about that. You're going to give whatever quarterback you draft $20 million. Is there anybody in free agency you would want to give $20 million to right now? Sam Darnold was a top 5 pick. Would you want to give him $20 million right now? It's interesting how it is that this position gets talked about. It's interesting how it is, how afraid we are of not taking a guy. It's interesting how the fears of not landing on somebody, of this dude being good or that guy being good when nobody expects them to be that good. It's interesting how that dictates our decision making. It's similar to what a lot of people who didn't want to move Baker Mayfield, and they ended up being proven right on this, were afraid of, right? And I think that's why this paranoia, this fear is so strong, because people are coming off the we moved off Baker Mayfield thing, and then Baker Mayfield started to get it together the last couple of years in Tampa Bay. And we don't want to live that fear again where we're like, oh, we could have drafted Cam Ward. Oh, we could have drafted Shedeur Sanders. It's fear of missing out that's driving the will to want to get a quarterback. But the question is, are we missing out? I don't think we're asking that question enough, right? Somebody said more like, I'm tired of watching the trash offense. Okay, but if you draft one of these quarterbacks and they're not good, is that going to make the offense better? I heard somebody say, hey, we should draft Shedeur Sanders or what's his name? Cam Ward, number 2 overall, because they'll be better than Deshaun Watson and DTR. And I thought to myself, yeah, I guess that's true. But you can sign Tyler Huntley. He's better than Deshaun Watson and DTR. You don't have to draft that dude number 2 overall if that's all you're looking for. There's no guarantee that whoever you draft is going to be more effective than like Jameis Winston. I'm dead serious. There's no guarantee. It's possible that both these guys could end up being better than Jameis Winston. It's also possible that both these guys could end up being worse than Jameis Winston. There's no guarantee here with drafting a quarterback. There's much less guarantee than going with somebody in free agency, because at least you know that's a veteran quarterback. They played in the NFL before. They've run similar offenses. Like, there's more certainty in that. So if your bar is we just got to get better than last year, you don't have to draft the quarterback at number 2 to get better than last year. Hell, you could draft the quarterback potentially at like 120 and get better than you were last year at quarterback, because you were one of the worst teams in football at the quarterback position. We really got to ask ourselves this question. Do you want to draft the quarterback because you want to draft the quarterback, or do you want to draft this quarterback or do you want to draft a player that just happens to play quarterback? Let me hit that one again. Again, ask yourself that question. Are you trying to draft the quarterback just to draft the quarterback? Or do you love a player who happens to be a quarterback? Because if you love a player who happens to be a quarterback, oh yeah, do it. I'm down for it. Trust me, I wish one of these dudes, I felt so strongly about his prospects that I could justify number 2 overall for this player. But if we're talking about trading back and moving back and then trying to get a quarterback on the back end, that's not somebody you really want. That's just you trying to make an excuse for you to get a quarterback. But you don't even really believe in any of these quarterbacks. Like, do you really believe in the quarterback? Because if you draft somebody in the top 5, if you decide to trade back, you got to be really sure about what you're doing with that pick. You got to be confident in what you're doing with that pick. You can't be hoping. You got to know. Can't live in your fears. You got to know. In none of these quarterback prospects, I feel, in my opinion, and look, I might be wrong. Shedeur Sanders might end up being the MVP of the NFL, and then Cam Ward might be the runner-up, and we're talking about Shedeur Sanders, Cam Ward for the rest of our lives, and we're mad that the Browns didn't take a quarterback, and all you guys be angry at me forever for having this take. That could be the possibility. It could also be possible that like 3 years, we kind of forget that this whole debate existed. Y'all remember 2014? The debate between Johnny Manziel and Teddy Bridgewater? Let me see hands in the chat of anybody who remembers those arguments between Johnny Manziel and Teddy Bridgewater, because they were epic. These were epic arguments. Epic arguments. Yeah, so Mike says, how could I forget? This was one of the most epic and crazy quarterback draft arguments of all time. There was a leak from the Cleveland Browns. Like, this debate was going on within the Browns organization. Because remember, the leak happened that the Browns commissioned an analytics study that told them that they needed to take Teddy Bridgewater. He's the best quarterback in this draft. Browns decided to draft Johnny Manziel. For somebody lost that argument, right? Now, it's not like Teddy Bridgewater turned into anything great, but it's funny how that debate felt like everything. The future of the franchise depended on the outcome of if you would have took Teddy Bridgewater or if you would have took Johnny Manziel. But in reality, you could have picked Johnny Manziel. You could have picked Teddy Bridgewater. It wouldn't have changed much. You know what would have changed much? If you would have took Aaron Donald 8th overall, or Odell Beckham, or Mike Evans 8th overall. We get so fixated on the quarterback position, we think that quarterback position is the only way to impact your team, to get better. And yeah, is quarterback important? Of course. Quarterback's a very important position. But it's not the only position that matters in football. You think having Mike Evans wouldn't be beneficial for the Cleveland Browns' future? You think if they would have in 2014 took Aaron Donald, that wouldn't have made them a much better team going forward? I tend to think so. Draft the best player that you can get. If that player plays a position that you desperately need, hallelujah, you just hit the lottery. But if that player doesn't play the best position that you desperately need, still just draft the best player you can. You have no idea what's going to happen in the 2026 offseason, what's going to happen in the 2026 draft. You could get Brock Purdy somehow in this draft. Or now I'm not saying Brock Purdy, but you could end up in like the 7th round, closing your eyes, drafting a random quarterback, and all of a sudden that dude turns out to be good. And all of this stuff that we did is for naught. Draft the best player you can. That's it. That's it to me. I get the quarterback argument. I know why people want to draft the quarterback. I think part of it is what we talked about, fear of missing out. People don't want to end up in a situation where they're looking at another quarterback the Browns could have had and chose not to. We lived through it with Ben Roethlisberger. We're living through it right now with Baker Mayfield, letting him go, how well he's played. A lot of Browns fans don't want to live through that anymore. And we can argue that these things are a little bit different and the Baker thing is blown out of context. And I agree. But the fact is that a lot of Browns fans are having that fear of missing out realized every Sunday for like the last 20 years. So I understand why that fear is so strong. But that fear does you nothing. Because if you don't think one of these quarterbacks are that good, you probably shouldn't put them in a position where they have to be that good. Because if you draft Shedeur Sanders number 2 overall, you're drafting him to be a top-tier quarterback. You're drafting him to be a franchise quarterback. Even the people I think who like Shedeur the most don't project him to be more than Geno Smith. Think about that. Cam Ward. I don't see the comps on him being Josh Allen or anything like that. It's not the year, in my opinion. Some years it's the years to go after a quarterback. Some years it's not. It's just not the year for me. Again, just one man's opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I have been biased when I looked at this tape. Maybe I'm being biased and I can't get out of it, but just doesn't feel like this is the year where a team's going to solve their problems at quarterback. You just got to wait for the right year. When there's quarterback talent there, there's going to be quarterback talent there. Now that raises a second question. If we don't think that there's a franchise quarterback in here, right? We think that the best you could get is a really good starter. Like that's the best case scenario for any of these picks. What should they do going forward? How should they operate going forward? Should the Browns get heavy in the free agent market? Sam Darnold's an interesting name. He played like garbage on Sunday Night Football against the Detroit Lions and looked like the old Sam Darnold. But here's the thing about the old Sam Darnold. If the Browns could get Sam Darnold for Sam Darnold prices, I'm not upset at it. That's probably your best option. But if you have to pay Sam Darnold premium prices, if you have to pay $40+ million for Sam Darnold, I'm good on Sam Darnold. It's all about the price point for me with Sam Darnold. So if Sam stinks against whatever team he plays in the playoffs, okay, Minnesota's not going to offer him the Godfather deal. That means his price is going to drop significantly. And if you could get Sam Darnold for what, 10 guaranteed, extra 10 in incentives if he hits it, I'm not mad at that. Like, you just don't want to pay premium prices for Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold is like the perfect example. How many of y'all build computers in chat? Do y'all build computers? Like, what is your hobby in chat? Let me know. Drop your hobbies in chat right now because I want to drop an analogy, but I want to make sure it hits the most people possible. Because I have an analogy for Sam Darnold. So chat, y'all let me know what y'all thinking on that. Golf, crypto, golf, sailboats, building Jeeps. I didn't know that was a hobby somebody could have, playing guitar. All right. So we got a real eclectic group here. We got a real eclectic group in chat, making music, soccer. All right. So we're just going to go with computers. You know what? Phones. We all buy phones, right? Phones. How about that? Everybody in chat has a phone, right? I'm just going to assume the answer is yes. Here's what Sam Darnold is. You ever see like Apple drop the new iPhone and it does like one more new thing than like last year's iPhone? And it doesn't make sense to pay $800 to get the new iPhone. Like, that's what Sam Darnold is. He is a piece of technology I would not recommend buying at full price. But Black Friday comes around, you get that same iPhone for $599. All of a sudden, I like it. I like the deal. Like, the iPhone 16 is good. Like, it makes sense all of a sudden, right? That is Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold makes no sense at top sticker price for a quarterback in free agency. He just doesn't make sense there. But what Sam Darnold does make sense for is to be somebody who could get you over the hump. And if you have to pay over the hump prices for Sam Darnold, then you're fine with that, right? You get Sam Darnold on sale, cool. You pay full price for Sam Darnold, you're a fool. A absolute fool. And like, think about this if you're Cleveland. You already got one dude who's not worth $45 million playing quarterback for you, or at least on the roster. You really shouldn't want to add two. Right? Matt Mackin says, I build gaming PCs. Yeah, it's like buying a Intel i9 at retail. It's like you just want to wait until that price drops, bro. Like, just wait till that new generation drops, and then you'll get the old gen, and you'll be fine with upgrading your computer. Like, it's not that different. It's an incremental upgrade. But that's how I feel about Sam Darnold. There are other options that I can only categorize as flyers. We've heard Kyle Trask. I've heard Malik Willis. There's no way I bring in those guys and go, all right, that's the room. like you cannot trade for Kyle Trask and just straight up tell me, yeah, that's the room. We're good. We don't need anything else. You cannot trade for Malik Willis and be like, yeah, there it is. Or somebody mentioned Joe Milton. There it is, right? I also think we're doing that thing that we do as fans at times where we think, oh, it's real simple. We'll simply trade for somebody of value from somebody else. But we will also only have to trade a 7th round pick to get that guy. It's not usually how it works. Like, the Patriots probably aren't super eager to get rid of Joe Milton right now. The Green Bay Packers probably aren't super eager to get rid of Malik Willis right now. These teams invested. Like, it was hard to pry DTR from the Cleveland Browns the last couple of years. Dorian Thompson-Robinson was hard to pry because the Browns thought they might have had a little something in that. It's not going to be easy to just pry these guys off. Like, you're probably going to have to give up more than you think you would for a Kyle Trask or something like that. And if you don't have to give up more than you think you would, then that makes you beg the question, does he suck? Because why are you willing to sell him? That is the catch-22 of trading for a quarterback. It is such a valuable resource that teams hoard on a regular basis that if a dude is available and they're willing to give you a reasonable price on them, all your I'm about to get scammed antennas have to go up, right? Like, there's no shot that your antennas don't go up because of that. Like, it's like somebody said they want to sell you a super fancy car under market value, and you know what? We'll deliver it right to your door. It's like, all right, I'm about to get robbed. Like, I'm about to get robbed because there's no way I'm getting this good of a deal for no reason. And that's the problem that the Browns have. Oh, yeah, you want to trade for J.J. McCarthy? Yeah, if you get a reasonable deal for J.J. McCarthy, you got to ask the question, dog. Like, why are they willing to be reasonable about this? They drafted this dude 8th overall. Like, they're just willing to sell him for a 3rd? Why would they do that? Does he stink? Because if they're willing to give him up for a 3rd, they must think they stink, right? Like, that has to be where they're at. Same way if somebody sells you a used car for like well under market value, you got to assume that there's something going on with the engine or something's broke, because there's no way that makes sense. This is where the Browns are. It's not an easy spot. They're going to have to figure something out. Somebody mentioned Jacoby Brissett. I feel like Jacoby Brissett is the betting favorite to land on this team. I don't think he's going to be the only quarterback that lands on this team, but he's going to be a betting favorite. Here's what I think is the template that the Browns are looking at. They're going to bring in 3 quarterbacks this offseason. I think Deshaun's going to spend a year on PUP. They're going to bring in 1 quarterback who's a veteran, has started before. Now, does Jacoby Brissett fall under that tier? I don't know. But I know Joe Flacco does. He's available. Kirk Cousins does. He's available. Maybe Andy Dalton falls under that same category. They're going to bring in a veteran starting quarterback. Some dude who was hot in like 2015. That's who they about to bring in, right? That is the range of guy. Maybe they bring in Aaron Rodgers, right? Like something like that. They're going to bring in somebody who was really good back in the day or decent back in the day, started back in the day. So that's going to be template quarterback to look for, number one. Number two, it's going to be a young flyer guy that they can get. It's going to follow a similar template to what the Steelers did, right? Steelers got them a young flyer guy in Justin Fields, traded a 6th-round pick for him. Browns are going to try to do something similar. Maybe that guy is Justin Fields. Who knows? But they're going to get him somebody a little bit less proven, but with some upside. Because if you bring Kirk Cousins over, there's a chance that Kirk Cousins, by the second half of the season, gets old, his Achilles starts to hurt a little bit, and then he starts to stink. So you can't just go in with the veteran, be the only guy. Someone said Jameis. It could be Jameis. That could be the vet they go with. Could be Jameis. Someone said trade for Matt Stafford. In our dreams, brother. In our dreams, we'll be able to trade for Matt Stafford. Somebody said Zach Wilson. That would probably be somebody that they would put under the flyer category. And then the third guy, going to be somebody you draft in the later rounds of the draft. Why? Because you need a body there and you need a body cheap at the quarterback position. That is the template that the Browns are likely to use, because that's the only template that they can really use, right? They're going to want to bring in a couple of people who they feel like can succeed in the Shanahan West Coast offense and just move forward like that. Now, we talked about quarterback. We talked about draft trades. Let's go ahead and break out a mock draft here. So I'm going to try to get this thing set up. Get that thing popped up there. And if Ian, if you could put that on screen as soon as possible, I would appreciate it. All right. So we're going to use the mock draft database to do this first mock. We're going to go 7 rounds. We're going to enter the room. And we're going to go, let's go normal speed. Let's go normal speed. Someone said Jake Browning. Yeah, man, we're going to have to get creative. You're going to hear names like you forgot about. Like I heard somebody bring up Mitchell Trubisky. I'm like, oh, God. But it might happen. It might happen. Like, it's not ridiculous. All right. So we're looking at the mock. Browns have the number 2 overall pick. Let's see. Cam Ward goes number 1 overall. The one offer we have, and this is like in a scenario where you don't get a great offer, is a 2026 round 1, 2026. So basically, they're trading me their whole draft for 2026. Chat, let's get a yes or no on this trade. Would you do it? Would you trade out the first round and to take the Chargers whole draft next year? We're getting a lot of no's. No. Emphatic no. Yeah, their pick. We're not even swapping with them, right? So we would get 2 picks. Now, the Browns might try to get an extra first. I don't know if they would do it at this cost. But the Browns might try to get an extra first. Someone said maybe. All right. So it looks like we're rejecting this trade. Now, let's say the Browns have to stand there and pick. You're going to have to make a tough decision here, right? They're going to make a decision that's going to make somebody mad on draft day. You could take Shedeur Sanders. There are going to be people who love that pick. There are going to be people who hate that pick. You could take Travis Hunter. Very intriguing athlete. 2-way guy. The question is, do you want to draft a slash guy that high in the draft? Or are you just going to play him at corner? Or are you just going to play him at wide receiver? Or are you going to let him play both? But is his body going to be able to hold up to playing up both positions? Serious question to ask here. Mason Graham. Look, there is no player I feel more solid about in this draft than Mason Graham. I know Mason Graham's going to be good. Abdul Carter could be Von Miller. Still has to get bigger. Still a bit of projection there. But I think for my money, that's the best prospect in the draft. A lot of people think Will Johnson is the best corner in this draft. If I were the GM, I'm taking Abdul Carter. I understand people are going to criticize me. And if Shador Sanders or Cam Ward, whoever's sitting here, becomes good, then I'm going to have to take the fall for that. But I trust that Abdul Carter will be a better professional at his position than what Shador will end up being. And keep in mind, right, just because you don't take a quarterback when one's there doesn't mean that like it's a terrible pick. Somebody brought up, we took Myles Garrett over Patrick Mahomes. Okay. Who cares? Like, you got Myles Garrett. Are you complaining about Myles Garrett? Doesn't matter. So if you draft Abdul Carter, if you're the Browns, you don't need to be concerned with, do you think any of these quarterbacks are going to be good and are you going to regret it? You need to be concerned with, do you think the guy you're picking is good? Because if Abdul Carter is great, nobody's going to care what happens after that pick. We bring it up all the time that the Browns drafted Baker Mayfield #1 overall because he's not one of the better players in this draft class. But Denzel Ward was. And you drafted Denzel Ward before Josh Allen. You drafted Denzel Ward before Lamar Jackson. We don't ever bring it up because we don't care. Right? Just get a good pick. Take the good player. Abdul Carter's the good player there. You can get Mason Graham, but you just want to get a good player. Who Tyler Warren go to? The damn Bengals? All right, so we got a trade offer here. What do we think about this one, chat? Move back to 59, pick up a 7th, but a 3rd next year. What y'all think? Nope. We get no's. Hell no. Oh, so we got one yes. One yes. Take a flyer on Jackson Dart in the 3rd round. I wish like they would let me see the board before I do all of this. Like there's Milroe, Tyler Booker. I think I see, Deron Harmon. All right, so let's look at what's available here. Elick Ayomanor's here. I have a 1st round grade on him. I think he's a tremendous wide receiver. So you could go wide receiver here. Interior line, they got Membu as a guard. That tracks. That makes sense. Linebacker wise, we're probably sitting on linebacker because they're low on some guys I like at linebacker. So, yeah, wow, they got Kobe King as a 311th prospect. That's going to change. Quarterbacks, Quinn Ewers, Carson Beck, Jalen Milroe, Jackson Dart. I'm good on all of that at 34. Harold Fannin Jr. I like Harold Fannin Jr. at 33. I wouldn't be mad at that. Gunnar Helm, a little early for him. You can get Tyleek here. You already got Abdul. You can get another interior guy to help you out. And maybe with the injury to Mike Hall, this feels more like a need. I'm going to trust that Mike Hall is going to come back from that injury. Could get Jahdae Barron here, another corner. I feel like the Browns want to draft another corner. Omarion Hampton, Caleb Johnson. Where are they at on K-Tron? Are they really low on K-Tron in this draft? Oh, yeah, I'm about to get K-Tron super late. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, brother. All right. Greg Zabel, Emory Jones, Marcus Mbow. Yeah, there's not much here at tackle because Josh Connolly went in the 1st round. And then edge, we already got an edge safety. I think I'm going to take Ayomanor. What y'all think? Should we go wide receiver here? I'm thinking wide receiver. Y'all want Ibuka? I know y'all probably want Ibuka. Y'all want Ibuka or y'all want Ayomanor? I'm thinking wide receiver is probably our best bet. I like both of them about the same. Yeah, I like Ayomanor here. Running back? Yeah, there's like 5 running backs I know I'm going to be able to get late. Yeah, it's pretty much, here's where I'm at. Harold Fannin Jr. or Emeka Ibuka. Here's the question you have to ask if you're the Browns, right? You're moving back to the Stefanski style stuff. Now you have one wide receiver who you feel like you're going to use a ton, and Jerry Jeudy. You feel like Cedric Tillman is somebody you want to continue to develop. Do you have room for an extra wide receiver here? Or do you have more of a need for a second tight end? I can argue both, right? The question for me is, do I think Harold Fainen Jr. is a better prospect than Emeka Ibuka? Because if it's even close, I'm probably going with tight end. Because tight end's probably going to be a little bit more important in this offense, especially without a quarterback. So are we going to Ibuka, Aya Manor, Harold Fainen? A lot of people say second tight end. I tend to think so too. We're going to get Harold Fainen right here. Jalen Milroe just went to the Jets. That's an unfortunate spot for him. All right, we at the third round. A good thing we took a tight end, right? Because look, all them tight ends is pretty much gone. We can get Xavier Restrepo if we still want to get a wide receiver. I like Restrepo a lot. Y'all want to take Quinn Ewers, chat? Well, y'all let me know, chat. Y'all want to take Quinn Ewers? Yes or no on Quinn Ewers? We could start looking at some guard prospects. Marcus Mbao is here, who you could take. Johnny Cornelius is going to be there at 120. I'll probably swing back around and grab him too. And y'all don't want Ewers? Y'all don't want him? All right. Yeah, I think I'm going to start. I might go Marcus Mbao here. I might get a tackle. How y'all got? Any of y'all have any strong opinions about Mbao? Mbo? I do not have much on Jaden Higgins yet. I got to look into him. There's a lot of wide receivers I got to look into. I got a lot of tape to watch over the next few months, man. Going tackle? Linebacker? It's too early for linebacker. I'm going tackle. Let's go tackle. This makes sense. He's one of the best. He's the best player on the board, according to this place. I like Mbo. Now, I'll really know more about Mbo and a lot of these guys at the Senior Bowl. So let's take the tackle. Let's take the tackle. Oh, Matthew Golden. If he's there at 93, I am running to the podium and taking him. All right, so anybody object to me taking Matthew Golden here? Anybody object to this? Speak now or forever hold your peace. I got one no. I don't think Scatterboo's on the board. Yeah, Scatterboo just went. All right. And Bo, we'll try him at tackle. If he sucks, we'll just move him inside. All right, yeah, I'm taking Golden, and I'm pretty happy with that. Let's get it. Let's get it. All right. All right, so they want to, nah, I'm not doing that. They want to give me a third round pick for a fourth? Nah, I ain't doing that. I ain't doing none of that. We're just going to sit and pick on this one. All right, so Charles Grant, he's a tackle to guard prospect out of William and Mary. We're really going to know more about him come the Senior Bowl because he's played at the FCS, so not the highest caliber of competition. Quarterback here, we could do Jackson Dart, 103. If you like Jackson Dart, Dylan Gabriel's here, Riley Leonard, Will Howard. I see these these five in a similar class to me. Since they're all here, I'm probably just fine waiting to 167. I know some of you guys like Dart. Got a tight end. Howard Cross is here. Vernon Broughton. Again, that's somebody we're going to see at the Senior Bowl. Darian Porter, running back. Travion Nick Singleton, tackle. We could get Cornelius, who's a right tackle to guard prospect. Or are we looking at running back here? So let's see. Only other person I'm thinking about is maybe Charles Grant, but I got to get a better look at him at the Senior Bowl before I'm confident in doing anything with him. Any corners I like here? I mean, Kobe Bryant, I like him, but he's a slot. Nah, nothing here on the D-line front. All right, y'all, we'll take a quarterback. How about that? We'll take quarterback here. Quarterback here. We'll go quarterback here. Yeah, I mean, we could get Travion. I know y'all would. Some of y'all would love that. All right, chat. You tell me. You tell me, chat. Travion Hendrickson or quarterback? And if we don't do quarterback, we're not picking until 167. You got one QB. I would be leaning towards Dart, but we can have a conversation. I'm getting a lot of Hendrickson. I mean, these are the quarterbacks that are available. Running back. Someone said Dart. Okay, we're getting a couple darts in there. Trav. Both these guys aren't going to be here at 160. We could try to move up, but both these guys aren't going to be here. Yeah, I ain't taking Will Howard right here. I could get Will Howard at 160. But if you want to get Gabriel, Riley Leonard, Dylan Gabriel, this is your best shot. Jackson Dart, this is your best shot for him. Should we take it? Is there a way we can get a poll? All right, someone said wait for Howard. We're going to go running back. So we're going running back. Let's go Travion then. If we're going to go running back. DJ Ukulele for the means? That's crazy. You're a crazy man for saying that. All right, let's get Trey in. If you're asking me what quarterbacks could fit Kevin's system, Dylan Gabriel could fit it. Jackson Dart, he doesn't stand strong enough in the pocket for me. I think they would like Riley Leonard the most out of all of these quarterbacks. That feels like the fit. Big body, stays tall in the pocket, not a super accurate passer, but can see and process stuff well enough. But we'll go ahead and get Travion here. All right. All right. I'm pausing it right here because we're at 126. Should we trade up for Dart? Should we trade up for a quarterback? What pick do you feel like is the what pick do you guys feel like is the right move to trade up for a quarterback? All right, let's see if we can move up. I don't know. We can't really offer trades though. Okay, let's do trade. And let's see. I know the Chargers probably aren't going to get quarterback. Baltimore, let's go and get swap with New Orleans. All right, so we can do a swap here, 167. And then I will give you. Okay. How about this and this? This is a weird trade system. All right. So that would be the trade. Are you guys okay with that? To move up? You guys okay with this? If I get 6 yeses, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Got 3 yeses. Got 4 yeses. 5 yeses. All right. Good Lord, they took Jackson Dart. Baltimore took Dart. Baltimore took Dart. That makes no sense. Baltimore took Dart. Oh, what? What? There is no shot, bro. No shot. No shot. They took Jackson Dart. Why would they do that? So is it just take Will Howard? Now I gotta look at the board again, man. Holy shit. That just reset everything. Ooh. All right. So they took the guy we were moving up for. I mean, we didn't anticipate that at all. We could go Charles Grant. He's a guard. So that would be, we already got another guard on the roster. I don't know if you want to get more guards. All right. First quarterback to get their name said in chat 6 times we're drafting. Unless it's something stupid, then I'm overriding. Oh, we can get a John A here. John A. Cornelius is here. That is hilarious. Somebody said DB. Quincy Riley, Kobe Bryant. Y'all like him? It's looking like Will Howard's going to be the selection. Whoever wins the national championship this year gets to be the Browns quarterback. That's that's the reward. If you win the national championship this year, you get to play football for the Cleveland Browns. Congratulations, baby. Like it's going to be Riley Leonard, it's going to be Drew Aller, it's going to be Will Howard, or it's going to be, oh God, somebody beat the Texas. Somebody beat Texas right now. If that's the case, I'm gonna need Ohio State to put 40 on him because I would rather draft Will Howard than Quinn Ewers. Oh Lord, oh Lord. Let's go, Will. Let's just take Will. Let's take Will. All right, let's round this one out, man. 178. That's hilarious. Riley Leonard might get the 178. Hey, y'all want to do this? I might do this, dog. Get an extra 5th next year. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, is there anybody like, damn it, I had it on quarterback, though. Let's see. And y'all like Domani Jackson? I would probably get Kobe Bryant here. I'm gonna just go take Kobe Bryant, man. I'm gonna give me a slot guy. I'm gonna give me a slot guy. I'm gonna get a corner here. Okay, Riley went. Curtis went. I was about to say if Curtis Work was there at 214, I'd take him. All right. No, I'm not looking for not trading with the damn Steelers. Okay. Mm, the beautiful 7th round of the draft. Let's see what we want to end out our day on. Corey Brooks, I guess. Oh, my man Rock Taylor. Oh, is Jimmy Horn there? I might take Jimmy Horn. Really good athlete, Jimmy Horn. Oh no, I know who I'm getting. They're gonna hate this pick. I'm getting my guy. Where Kobe King at? Somebody took him? Dog, they had him rated like 60th, 300th. Damn, they took my dog. Kobe King gonna be like Kobe King's absolutely not gonna slide past the 4th or 5th round, but they took my dog. All right. Safety. Jalen Reed, Keon Saab. See, we in love with any of these names? I gotta hurry up. It's about to be 8:00. Someone said kicker. Hey, can we ban him from chat? Can we ban that man from chat? Whoever said that, ban him from chat. No more chat for you. I've had enough. No, thank you. All right, linebacker. I'm not drafting no damn punter, man. Get that out of my face. Jackson Hall. Ooh, I wonder if they got Zeke on here. They got Zeke? Where's my guy? Ooh, they got CJ West. I'm taking CJ West. No, I'm good here. Okay. I'm gonna just do the Andrew Berry thing and take the best corner available because, like, he about to take the corner. Yep. And that is the mock draft. We got Rob from Baltimore over Jackson Dart, hilariously enough. We got two corners, a running back, Will Howard, Kobe Bryant. I should have took K-Tron. That is the mock draft. They gave him a 1 second. Someone said draft a Michigan kicker. I don't think he's draft eligible yet. But don't fall into the trap, man. Every time you look at a kicker, he's like, oh my God, he's going to be the best kicker ever. He turns out being just like regular kicker. But all right. This has been fun. Our exploration into what the Browns should do this season, our exploration into what the quarterback position could look like if the Browns decide to pass on a quarterback in round 1. There are going to be a lot of options that are going to be presented to the Cleveland Browns. Not a lot of these options are going to be amazing long-term solutions. The Browns have to decide how they want to go about this. They have to decide, is there a quarterback in this draft? It's one thing for me to think there's not a quarterback, but the Browns have to make that decision themselves. I expect them to go to every single quarterback's workouts. I expect them to have a heavy presence at the East-West Shrine game and have a heavy presence at the Senior Bowl. I expect them to scour the earth for some type of quarterback in this draft because they need to get lucky. But that's my thoughts on that whole situation. I want to thank Ian behind the scenes for producing the show. Didn't get a ton of notes from me, unfortunately, before this show, but did a great job finding some B-roll and rolling with the punches. Appreciate you, Ian, the work you do behind the scenes. Want to thank you guys in chat. Seems like Twitch showed up big in this chat. Yeah, I guess we forgot to ban Mike because he was out here advocating for punters and kickers and long snappers and ridiculous stuff. But appreciate you guys for joining us. Do we have? I'm assuming we have Fred and Barry going on behind me. Want to thank you guys for joining me to the 8:00 hour. Now, make sure you stay tuned for the OBR's version of flipping right in from around the horn into PTI, ladies and gentlemen, or let's go ahead to go to Fred and Barry McBride. No Fred and Barry. They're on Wednesday this week. All right. Well, I want to thank you guys for joining us. Y'all have a great day. Have an even better night. Peace.